The racing week starts on Tuesday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Really looking forward to welcoming you back here to HQ on Tuesday, the 26th of November. It's obviously the start of a very big week on the South African racing calendar. You can open up your Hollywoodbets accounts and get stuck in, take some more to comes and have a look at what's going on at Turfentine on Saturday for the Betway Summer Cup. It really is going to be exciting. It's a 10-race card to whet the appetite here at HQ on this Tuesday. And don't forget to like and subscribe to all our social media channels. Tell us what you think and give us a follow, give us a like, and catch up on all of the content, all of the interest, and all of the talk going on around the Cape racing tracks as we get towards the end of 2024, but only one day in to the Cape Summer Racing Festival. Of course, the next big day will be the 7th of December with the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. Right, let's take you through this 10-race card. I'll be calling the 10 races home at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and we start off with the Hollywoodbets Kenilworth welcomes you Maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,000 metres. Race runs at 12:05. Now, there's an interesting dynamic in this race because Call Me Jane put up such a pleasing debut performance when finishing second behind Priscilla Maisie. Just in behind was Heritage Wood, and I think that this is a Heritage Ridge rather, and I think this is a cognizant piece of form, something that you've got to pick up on and take note of. Obviously, on debut, you'd expect that Call Me Jane has natural progression to come, but also was Heritage Ridge a horse that had the luck of the green at Hollywoodbets Durbanville last time out? I'm not too sure. We're having a look at that right now, and Call Me Jane I think put up a pleasing enough debut. I think going in a straight line's bound to help her, and I think that she'll just step off the conveyor belt naturally and take all the beating in race number 1. But I do think Heritage Ridge, do not write her off completely as far as getting closer and maybe giving a fright to Call Me Jane. So what I'm going to do in race number 1 is I'm going to go with the corner offer Andre Nel form. I'm going to back that up, and I'm going to suggest that Call Me Jane will win the first race, but it's highly conceivable that Heritage Ridge is going to put up a very good performance and run close. Just another horse not to leave out. Number 12, Love Story, brings very strong form lines into the picture, and I think she'll run her best race yet, but just probably falling short in the opener. Now we move on to race number 2. It's the start of the Bipot. It's the Cape Turf Club Syndicate's maiden plate, and they go 1,200 metres. 12:40 is when the Bipot gets underway. And I've taken a very alternative stance in this race. There's quite a little bit of form to work with here. Let's kick off with number 2 on the card, Beautiful Winter. Oswald Noach takes her out for Ricky Maingard. For me, he was slightly unlucky last time behind Elizabeth Gold, who's a very interesting runner later on in the card. His debut was very good behind Bagatelle Flash. That's been a good form line. I don't think Bagatelle Flash is any mug by any stretch of the imagination, and I think with just not having the most luck in running reported to be carried out of the 200, Beautiful Winter is a horse that's probably just slightly underappreciated and will go very, very close in the second race. But I'm finding it hard to isolate the likely winner in this race because I've got a few others. Let's talk about number 7 on the card, Victor Hugo, who ran 4th on debut behind Garrix. Garrix obviously ran in the Cape Punters Cup just a few days earlier. That for me was a signal of intent. I think Victor Hugo, coming from the family that he comes from, a family that's going to only improve the further he goes, the more he races, related to a few very, very nice horses, one that was trained by Peter Muscat not so long ago. Richard Fareed takes her out for Lucinda Woodruff, and I think number 7, Victor Hugo, is a horse that you need to watch the betting on and watch him go down to the start. I think he'll have a lot of progress to come, and I think that he's going to step forward significantly from his first start, and I think that he's a winning chance in the second race on the card. And the other horse that I want to make note of is number 16, Master of the Desert. He's banging at the door. He's now gelded. That could be the key, and I think what else is interesting is now he's back at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. He's got an outside draw to contend with, but Elder Domain knows his way around Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. I wouldn't read too much into that, so I think that's also got a winning chance. Watch the market on number 13, Drickus, as well. Corner offer takes her out for Andre Nel on a well-bred son of Vercingetorix. So this is not normally a play that I make, but what I'm hinging my hopes on is that the market, and at the time of recording there is no betting available, the market is not one that has a strong favourite, that there's no real standout. So I'm going to triple float the 3 horses that I'm talking about by the field. So 2, 7 and 16 by the field in the quartet. Yes, hoping that all 3 of those horses run into the top 3, and then we can move on with a little bit of moolah into the first leg of the place accumulator, where I have a very nice play for you. Right, on we go to race number 3 on the card, the start of the place accumulator. Now, the third race on the card will get underway at 1:15. The P3 Racing Syndicate Open Maiden for fillies and mares over 1,200 meters. For me, it's a bit of a shallow maiden, and I don't think it'll take much winning. Now, at number 1, Frida Kahlo, obviously with 2 starts under the belt, step forward from run 1 to run 2. If the Priscilla Maisie form is enhanced earlier on in the day, then that will make her very interesting indeed. But as I mentioned at the end of race number 2, the place accumulator is my suggested bet. And what I've done here is I've bankered number 11, Winter Gamble, because I simply think she won't miss the top 3. And I think that she's got a good winning chance. She's also making progress all the while. Aldo de Meyer takes her out for Candice Bass-Robinson. And this Daughter of Water Winter, to me last time, ran a very pleasing race when just showing a lot of spark, a lot of pace coming to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth and running in a straight line for the first time and finishing second behind Berry's Boogie. I think that'll set her up nicely. I know that she carries 60 kilos, so she's got to give weight away to quite a few horses in the race. But for me, the fact that she's progressing and she's taking on horses that might look like they stuck in these ranks and need a lot of luck and need the right type of races, that I think number 11, Winter Gamble, ranks as a place accumulator banker. In fact, I think you can bank her one or the other, numbers 1 or 11, and there's a good opportunity to run in the top 2. But what I've done here is I've gone with a place accumulator as my suggested exotic. I've gone banker 11 in the first leg, and it's a cheap place accumulator, but banker 5, by 3 and 7, by banker 3. Then I've opened up a little, but I've gone 5 horses in a small field, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8, which is race number 7. By 2, 6, and 10, by 2 and 7 at the back. We can take a nice little percentage of that, or we can take it a couple of times. Payday would have arrived, and maybe we can have a little bit of fun in the place accumulator at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. On we go now to race number 4, celebrating Centurion member Greg Enyon's birthday, Maiden plate over 1,400 meters. Greg doesn't look a day older than 80, and it's the start of the pick 6, gets underway at 13.50, and I think there are probably 2 winning chances here. You would have known I've given the game away in the place accumulator that I'm very keen on number 5, King's Quest. It's my top selection, but I do have a lot of respect for number 8, Honor of Kings. Let's talk a little bit about this horse, King's Quest, the son of Quirari, also first runners a gelding. Candice Bass-Robinson, I think we know, has a very strong crop of colts this season. Fillies maybe for the first time in a while not as good as the colts. It's normally the other way around, but I don't know if King's Quest is quite at the same level as a 3-year-old running later on in the day in the form of Major Master, Boundless Energy, Air Raid, etc., etc. But I think there are wins to come from the son of Quirari. His last run was good behind Terminator. He's always been held in fairly high regard. He started life at Hollywoodbets Durbanville in the mud, where he ran very nicely to Please Be True. That turned into one of the most revealing form lines, maiden form lines in Cape Town. And second start to Captain West, obviously acquitted himself in the Cape Punters Cup. But the run to Terminator, I think, is good enough just to take at face value and make a good case for him. He over-raced over 1,400 meters. He's back over the same trip, but it looks like he's going to step forward over this distance as well. And even though I think he will be sufficiently tested by the main danger, number 8, Honor of Kings, who of course is a half-brother to recent Horse of the Year, Princess Color, I think number 5, King's Quest, probably represents A, more value, and B, just the horse that's more ready to win now. Honor of Kings just looks like a horse that needs to be gelded, but why would you geld a horse that well bred? So 5, King's Quest, top selection, frame him up, let's go. First leg of the pick 6, but with huge respect for number 8. On we go now to race number 5. It's the start of the first jackpot at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. 2 is when the race, Cape Power by Hollywoodbets Class 4 over 1,600 meters gets underway. 2 of my favorite 3-year-olds. Don't know if they're top division. They're probably not top division, but 2 of my favorite 3-year-old horses that I think will do us a few favors over the coming months. Line up here, Major Master number 3 and number 7, Dalmeny Factor. Let's talk about them both in a very open race. Major Master reopposes Pinot Grigio, by the way, and we're going to have a look at that rerun when finishing second to Pinot Grigio, 3 parts of a length behind. He went off at 4 to 10. It was a real head scratcher that he got rolled that time, but he set the record straight by beating Rich Folks Hoax. Rich Folks Hoax subsequently went on to win. It was a hard-fought win, yes, with Eric Sands' horse up the inside, Green Garnet, showing a lot of cheek, but there was a margin, a big sufficient margin back to third. So I'm happy to say that that form line looks like it's working out very nicely indeed. Obviously Aldo de Meyer can't do 55 and a half, So who better than JP van der Merwe to pick up the crumbs? Number 3, Major Master has got a good solid look about him. I think going over a mile for the first time is going to set him up nicely. Who knows, he might even be a horse that targets some serious feature races over a little bit further as the Cape Summer Festival of Racing winds down. So number 3, Major Master, strong case made for him. I think that he's got a big winning chance. But the same can be said for number 7, Dalmeny Factor. If you watch the entire run last time at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, he was stuck out deep around the turn. He didn't have the most luck. Looked like he just grabbed the bit midway through the turn as well. And for me, he did very well to finish third behind Radicho. Now, I'd venture to say that his maiden form lines are probably not as strong as those of Major Master. But with that said, I think he's got a lot of progress to come. I think off an 86, he's underappreciated. Ironic that he has to give half a kilo to Major Master, but I think that they're going to be wins to come, and he's a horse that I want to be on the right side of. He's a good-looking horse. The yards come to hand, jockeys in form as well, and just expect him to go very, very well here. So race 5, with a lot of horses in with chances. Let's go box swingers, numbers 3 and 7. On we go to race number 6 on the card. So we're through halfway, and this looks like a race that maybe we can earmark something quite strongly. And the former number 3, Lady Springfield, Richard Fourie on board for Justin Snaith. Now here's why. It took her a while to get going. She made her debut over 1,200 metres. I don't think she'll win the worst race over 1,200 metres. But since going around the turn, since going over a trip, since getting more experience, she looks like she has a solid look about her, and she could be one of those horses that gets into the almost Rainbow Lorikeet type of role of last season when winning 1,800-metre minor feature races like the Cape Oaks, etc. Number 3, Lady Springfield, stepping up all the while, and I know Justin Snaith's got high hopes for her. Said in a winning interview about a month ago that this is the type of filly that you've got to keep an eye on. Her last start to Heliotrope in that tried and tested grizzled level of Class 4, where you got all those hardened horses that are so hard to beat, that have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, I thought was very good. There was money for her when supported from 14 to 1 into 7 to 1, and she went down narrowly to Heliotrope, who, even though she might be what she is, she's just a good solid money spinner. In a few months' time, I don't think Heliotrope beats Lady Springfield, and I think that this is just the natural step forward for her. She beat Lavender Bay at her penultimate start. Lavender Bay is a maiden no more. I thought it was a commanding win for her about a week earlier. And I think with the progress that she's got to come, and now taking on Heliotrope at 1 kilogram better terms, Lady Springfield will turn that form around, and I think that she will win the 6th race on the card. Let's go on to race number 7 on the card. It's the start of Jackpot number 2, and as you would have told from my place accumulator, I've gotten 5 horses here, more than half the field. It is probably the race that lends itself to going field more than any other on the entire card. But I'm keen on a horse to run in the top 3 here, and let's hope that the price is on our side with number 3, Siddeley. These are the reasons why. She had no right to be in the Red Palace Double Grand Slam race last time out. That wasn't a progress plate, where at the rating she had no chance of winning, and she ran 7.5 lengths behind Red Palace. But she might have given you a cheap thrill 400 metres out when hitting the front. But be that as it may, she now gets Grand Finique on board. She's on the back of a rating drop. It's a second run after a rest, so she may have just needed that last run. I think she's set up here, number 3, Siddeley. It's not a true handicap, but it is definitely a big drop in class. She's got every opportunity with 58.5 kilos on her back. Justin Snaith has a pretty strong hand in this race with a lot of winning chances, but this time last year, I thought Siddeley would be a lot further on in her career. She's also back to 1,200 metres, a trip where she's not missed the top 4 for 4 starts, 1 win, 2 seconds and a 4th. The opposition that she's run against is just simply a lot better than this. I think she's in the calmest water she's been in for a long time, and I reckon that she'll run into the top 3. Why am I only making a top 3 selection? Because there's no way we can write off the likes of She's My Captain, Kyle Army Girl, Great Cat. They're both horses that are down in class. Unconquerable Lady, I think, is underappreciated after running in the Baker McVeigh Diana Stakes last time out, and even Japanese Rose showing signs of life last time out as well with Richard Fourie on board. So, Siddeley, a place, race number 7, that's going to be my stance, but there are a lot of winning chances. Race 8, CRS Summer Sale, Class 4 over 1,200 metres. This is the last opportunity to play a pick 3 on the card. I love these races, these Class 4s, because even though you've got those grizzled veterans that try, that have been there, done that, they got their wins under the belt, they keep the earners interested. I like them because we got those young progressive 3-year-olds who could step forward significantly and be interesting horses in the future. So, Two horses that make a lot of appeal to me. Number 2, Elizabeth Gold. Alda de Meyer takes a ride for Candice Bass-Robinson. His debut win was very encouraging. He turned it on like this, and he ran away from Cliff Swallow, who obviously runs earlier on in the day. There are a lot of clues that we'll get about Elizabeth Gold earlier on in the day as well. So number 2, Elizabeth Gold, what I saw was turn of foot and the way that he was very professional first time out. Those are all attributes that makes him very interesting in just a second start. He could take a big step forward and he could really be a nice horse. But number 6, Let It Be Said, is going to be the backup. Richard Faree's back on board here for Justin Snaith. And last time behind Arctic Wizard, when there was a lot of support and a lot of talk for him, he ran a nice race behind Arctic Wizard, the Greg Enyon trained runner. However, he gave a little bit of weight away and he didn't really show that spark. He didn't really lift in his first start as a gelding. But if you go to his penultimate start when beating Garrix, and Garrix looks like one of the progressive 3-year-olds around town, then I think that's the clue, that's the reveal, that's the level that Let It Be Said is capable of. So I'm going to go with the 2-year-olds. That's going to be my stance in the 8th race on the card. Let's go box swingers, numbers 2 and 6 in the 8th on the card. Race number 9, perfectly placed Class 3 over 1,200 meters. Some of the real golden oldie and solid sprinters around town go here, and there's a lot of form to work with. For example, I think Dumbledore's alive, Gavin Lorena's in town. I think Scottman's in very good form with Tristan Godden taking the ride for Pete Buerta. Oliver's never been in this type of form. War Chariot always punches above his weight. I think Black Egret might be at the type of level that makes him dangerous. However, let's go with a horse here called Nordic Chief, number 7, Corne Orfer, on board for Andre Null. Here's why. Down in class, that I think is the biggest evidence here of a big run expected. Last time he ran in a strong race behind Dance Variety. For me, Dance Variety is simply a better horse than Nordic Chief. Nordic Chief carried 52 kilos. I think that was a bit of evidence that he may have been outgunned, but he did not run badly by any stretch of the imagination. It's his 3rd run after a break. His first run back, he ran half a length to Dean Street. Dean Street would be a natural inclusion in a race of this nature. And if you think to what he was getting up to towards the start of the year, that winning form, that confidence and that style that he was racing with, that panache, that sort of start to finish victory that he gave when beating Wyag in mid-January, all of that is an evidence of his capabilities. And I think that Nordic Chief now for 94 in this type of level is a very interesting sort, and I think that he's a horse that you need to take a lot of note of, and he's a definite inclusion in all bets in race number 9, the final leg of the place accumulator and the pick 6. I've given you the lowdown on all those dangers, but I think that Nordic Chief might be able to get first run. The positive way that he's ridden in a few horses like Oliver just in behind that look for gaps and look to take off late, Nordic Chief might get them on the stretch and he might prove to be the horse to beat in race number 9. But it's hard to put your neck on the block. We're going to go each way in the penultimate. 10th and last, I think we're saving the best for last. Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 4 for fillies and mares over 1,000 meters. Wish this was a leg of the pick 6, don't you? Rockapina, what price is she going to be in the 10th and last race? Well, we shall see when all that gets revealed. It is a lot of weight with 62.5 kilos on her back, but she's a regally bred daughter of one world from a prolific family. Just look at what she's getting up to. She might have just been out and done last time at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. We're going off at 4-10 and beaten by She's My Captain, who runs earlier on in the day, who obviously Richard Faree loves and adores. Coming back from a little layoff doesn't really worry me. I think she's feature race caliber. Don't know if she's grade 1 feature race caliber, certainly not yet anyway. But I think that now you're going to see the best of number 9, Rockapina. She's always been held in higher regard. She beat Stu's Girl in her penultimate race. In fact, she galloped Stu's Girl into the ground. She ran away. She's got jet, she's got engines, and she's one of the young fillies around Cape Town on the sprint distance that really excites me. I think that she's got a lot more to come than a lot of the others in the race, and if she doesn't need the run too badly, I think she'll win. It's as simple as that. Let's have a win bet, number 9, Rockapina, in the finale on Tuesday. So that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that we'll be back here in just over a week from now on the 4th of December as we continue along on the back of all the festivities up country. I trust that I've steered you in the right direction. Really looking forward to the racing on this Tuesday. It's a 10-race card as we normally have with big fields. It should be a lot of fun, and let's hope at the end of it all, you're in the winner's queue.